I thought he just wanted to visit Grandma, but then my grandson asked this heartfelt question that changed everything. My name is Margaret, and I am 71 years old. Life at this age feels like a strange mixture of stillness and reflection. Most of the time, my days are quiet, filled with gardening, reading, and watching the world go by through the front porch of my little white house in Ohio. My husband passed away 10 years ago, and since then, I have learned to fill my life with simple routines. Still, nothing compares to the joy I feel whenever my family visits, especially my daughter Sarah and her son, my grandson Ethan. Ethan is only 10, but his presence carries a brightness that could light up the darkest of rooms. He's got sandy brown hair, a smile that comes easily, and questions that tumble out of his mouth one after another. He has always been curious, thoughtful, and a little old soul in nature. Whenever he visits me, it reminds me of when Sarah herself was a child, running through the same hallway and sitting on the same porch swing with me. History feels alive when your grandchild takes your hand the same way your child once did. One Saturday afternoon in early autumn, I was surprised when Sarah called and asked if Ethan could spend the weekend with me. She said he had been insisting all week. She sounded a little curious herself because Ethan hadn't explained exactly why. He just kept saying he wanted to spend time with Grandma. My heart warmed instantly. I prepared his favorite cookies, set fresh sheets on the guest bed, and even pulled out the puzzle box I had been saving for special occasion. To me, a weekend with Ethan was already a gift. When Sarah dropped him off, Ethan came running to me and hugged me so tightly I almost lost my balance. "Grandma," he said, "I'm so glad to be here." I laughed, holding his little shoulders, and told him how much I'd been looking forward to our weekend. I thought he just wanted the simple things: cookies, puzzles, bedtime stories. But little did I know, he had come for something more. The first evening, we baked together. Flour covered the counter, the floor, and even Ethan's hair. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. Later, while we were eating warm chocolate chip cookies, he asked me questions about my childhood, what toys I played with, what school was like when I was his age. I shared stories of riding bikes down country roads and picking wildflowers for my mother. His eyes lit up as if I had transported him to another world. That night, as I tucked him into bed, I felt an unusual tenderness in his hug, as though he had more on his mind than he was saying. The next morning, Ethan followed me outside as I tended the garden. He was quieter than usual, just watching me prune the roses. Finally, he sat down on the porch steps and asked softly, "Grandma, were you ever scared to be alone?" I paused, the pruning shears still in my hand. It was a question I hadn't expected, and for a moment I wasn't sure how to answer. I sat beside him, brushing the dirt from my hands, and told him gently, "Yes, sweetheart, sometimes I was. When your grandpa passed away, the house felt very quiet. But I found comfort in remembering the love we shared, and in knowing my family was always there for me." He nodded slowly, but I could tell there was something deeper behind his question. Later that afternoon, while we worked on the puzzle at the kitchen table, Ethan finally looked at me with a seriousness far beyond his years. "Grandma," he said, "do you ever feel like people forget about you when you get older?" His words caught me off guard. I stared at him, my heart aching at the thought of such a young boy worrying about something like that. I reached out, taking his small hand in mine. "Why do you ask me that, Ethan?" I whispered. He looked down and said, "Because sometimes I hear kids at school say they don't have time for their grandparents, or that old people don't matter anymore. But I don't think that's true. I wanted to come this weekend because I wanted you to know you'll never be forgotten. Not by me." In that moment, tears filled my eyes. I had thought he just wanted cookies and puzzles, but instead he had come to ask me the most heartfelt question, whether I ever felt forgotten. And in his gentle way, he gave me the answer himself. I hugged him tightly, not caring if the puzzle pieces scattered on the floor. My grandson, just 10 years old, had reached into my heart and reassured me in a way no one else could. The rest of the weekend felt different. Every moment seemed heavier with meaning. We went for a walk around the neighborhood, and Ethan held my hand the whole way, pointing out the changing leaves and the squirrels racing along the branches. We sat on the porch swing, talking about his dreams of becoming a teacher one day. At night, when I told him bedtime stories, he listened with an attentiveness that made me feel like my words carried the weight of history. I realized then that being a grandparent wasn't just about spoiling children with treats, it was about leaving behind pieces of yourself that they carry forward. When Sarah came to pick Ethan up, I told her about our conversation. She was touched and admitted she hadn't realized how deeply Ethan thought about these things. On the drive back, Ethan rolled down the car window, waved, and shouted, "I'll never forget you, Grandma. Ever." I stood on the porch with my heart full, knowing that no matter what, his promise would stay with me forever. That weekend changed something inside me. It reminded me that the bond between grandparents and grandchildren isn't fragile or outdated. It's timeless. We may grow older, and the world may seem to move on quickly, but love has a way of anchoring us in each other's hearts. And it took a 10-year-old boy, my sweet grandson Ethan, to remind me of that truth. So whenever I sit on that porch swing now, I don't feel alone. I feel remembered, cherished, and alive in the memories we've shared and in the love that will continue long after me. All because my grandson asked one heartfelt question, and in doing so, gave me an answer I'll carry with me always.